thing, I want to talk about how to use leaning or body movement to aid you in attack and defense. It can be a huge helpmeet in close quarters, at real close range, and even at long range. It almost always stands you in good stead to lean away from an attack instead of just standing still and dealing with it. If you can't move your feet, you can almost always lean. Even in really, really tight spaces, you can lean away from an attack. I'm going to call Ron in here, and we're going to demonstrate this. Now, leaning has lots of advantages, but one of the disadvantages, especially when you lean away from attack at your head, is your body's still there. So, I move my head, but my body's still there. So when you lean, sometimes you have to take a step, or you have to be really cognizant that a second hand, or that hand may fire again. So when you lean away, be ready to continue your defense as I move. So when he goes, I lean, pick him up, pick him up. So I lean, 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 and I'm constantly moving my body. And I'm remembering that's vulnerable. So sometimes when I come here, I may have to do a replacement step, or I lean away, I may pull my leg back, or I come here and I may just run away from it like that if I have the room. So sometimes you do a replacement step to get your body out of the way, or you take a step, physical steps, to move yourself out of the way. Because your upper body usually moves, your lower body is usually still planted. But it can be really helpful. If he stabs at your low body, you can lean here too. So when he comes, let's try again, goes at your lower body, I don't want to stand here and do this. Stab. Don't want to do this. I want to do that. I want to turn and shift my body and probably lean away from it a little bit. Okay? So you want to adjust your body constantly. So when I do this and he fires again, I'm ready to go. You've got to remember, especially with two knives, the first one may not stop the attack. Come up to the face. Now sometimes you lean into the attack. That's okay. If I come here and I lean here, look where I'm at. I'm going to teach you more about this in a second. Using leaning to aid your offense and defense. Instead of staying, sometimes you can't move, but you can almost always lean away from the attack. And what it does is, particularly it clears your face from that attack, and lots of times if it goes to your body, it clears your body too. As I see this and I lean and I twist and turn, I vacate that space. Here my body is, and I lean this way. Now, when you lean, you may disturb your balance, so there might have to be a balance adjustment or a foot adjustment, because when you lean, here I'm in a little awkward spot, okay? I don't want to stay there because he's still got another knife. It's going to fire. I'm going to move after I lean. If he goes to your face, leaning can really be helpful. Look how far I get away. Here I am, here I am. Look how far I got. First, I just take another step and cut it. So leaning is really, really important. Now, leaning constantly, and if you're a good knife fighter, you'll lean constantly. It can be really good, but it's hard on your body. It's hard on your low back. One of the ways that I counter this is a medicine ball routine that I do. I do it 3 times a week, about 250 reps with different exercises, and it really strengthens your core and your low back so that you can make these twists and turns when you lean. And you want to lean. You lean to get away, especially at close quarters here. If I'm close and I lean here, look how far away I am. Now watch, when you lean, it's important that your face doesn't go in the direction you lean. I can't do this. Look at this, my face is here, all the action's there. As you lean, your head has to turn back. As you make contact, it has to watch now. Because if he goes again, maybe I'll just step out like that and get away from it. Maybe I'll turn into it. So as I lean here and he goes again, maybe I'll come here. And here's a chance to get a lot of oomph on your stroke. If you get over here, let's go slow, and I turn back as I lean here, I can quite often beat that knife right out of his hand, or I can chop right on his hand and cut his hand off. Because you've got all this torque here as I turn back. But your turn has to be quick. really, really quick. Sometimes you're better off to just follow it with a big step. Your lean. Here. So as he goes here and I follow it with a step, or on this side, I follow it with a couple steps. What you want to do though is get used to leaning. Leaning. Sometimes you lean in to the incoming knife. So if you, let's throw this one, I lean here. Now watch there. Sometimes I'll lean against this one, here. That one will go. Or here, and I'll pick it up here and come right back. Leaning oftentimes leaves you in a spot. Look how close I am from my counter. This is the advantage of two knives. That's a real danger because you're coming real close to that. If you can lean this way though, throw the same hand, here, you zone way away from that knife hand. So he has a long ways to go. And you can easily get away from it by just taking a step. Want to learn to lean. Lean, lean, lean. If you can't move your feet, move your body. Even if your feet are here. Let's say my feet are here. I'll lean. I'll lean. I'll lean. I'll lean. I'll lean. I'll lean. Sometimes you lean the wrong way. Even if I lean into it now, I'm a long ways from that one, and I'm real close here. So if I get to here, that can quite often hit before that one will fire. So my stop hit comes from here into his jaw, there, better his temple there, or I just turn back and stick the point in his eye. So I lean away and come right back. I lean this way, and I stick the point in. So just really quick like that. It's amazing how fast that is. You can also drop when you lean out. If I lean this way, I can stick it right underneath the armpit. Here, into the armpit too. Here, here into the armpit. That's another thing. When you lean correctly, I get here, watch this point go. So I reach around him when I lean. Here, stab him in the kidney. Here, you can't see that one. Let's go on this side. Stab in the kidney, stab in the back of the head, lean here, stab in the back of the head. So leaning allows you to attack other targets as well. Not just the front, but targets on the side and in the back. Now, another advantage before we quit for the day in this little teaching segment is when you lean, quite often you give yourself a chance to pin the arm against his body and finish him, because it takes you so far outside of that attack and it almost pins it, immobilizes it for just a split second. Fire the rear hand here. See how I zone clear away from that? I'm zoned away from that hand. I can then drive in and take him. So there's lots of benefits of leaning. One, you vacate the space. You vacate the space. You vacate the space. Two is it gives you a really good chance to pin that arm. And the other thing I want you to remember is when you lean, like I said earlier, you lots of times leave your body here. So you have to be ready to move. You have to be ready to take a step or pivot. Sometimes you just push forward and run out, okay? Sometimes, you have to pull this leg back, this side of your body away from his attack, all right? Those are the things to remember when you're practicing leaning. Use it every single time you train. Don't take a knife thrust to your face without leaning. Move your head, move your head, move your head. Lean. And lots of times the lean is aided, I should have added this earlier, by a drop of the body. I usually just don't stay here. My body usually sinks when I lean. It sinks. It sinks. It sinks. And that gives me a whole different perspective on what he's doing. I'm looking up here, I can see everything. And I got a good chance to go in for my finish. Practice leaning. It'll stand you in good stead.